Hi, and welcome again to the Accidental Filmmaker. I'm Ryan Smith, awkward selfie-taking video guy, at least until I get a little bit better video equipment. We are stuck on the front-facing camera of my iPhone, so lucky you. You may notice my camera shelf back there is a little empty. It's because I thought for my second video I'd talk a little bit about how I got into this. I was visiting my hometown, and I have a passion for, show you. Passion for old telephones. Love old telephones. This one is a Western Electric, I think it's a Model 301. Shame to say I can't remember right at the moment, but got this from my parents. Picked it up at a junk shop for me in my hometown because I knew I'd been looking for one unsuccessfully here in Denver. And when I was visiting my hometown, I went back to that junk shop to look for other old phones, and I ran across some vintage cameras. And I just liked the way they looked. And over the next couple of days, I picked up like several of them, 6 of them, and 3 of them ended up still working, and none of them are, I believe, under 50 years old. So I just thought I would go over what I got here. The first couple are not Super-8 cameras, they are 8mm cameras. This one is a Revere. It's a Revere 8. It is about 1947, and this is one of the ones that still works. This is a doesn't run on a battery. It's got a spring-wound motor, and these things are built like tanks. This thing's 74 years old. You can wind the thing up just with this key and pull that trigger in. Hear that? Still works. And actually, and I don't think this is too uncommon, I open this up, and there's still some 8mm film rolls, probably 70 years old, sitting in the film compartment, long expired and probably undevelopable, I'm sure. But if they were developable, if that is a word, they're not now because I exposed them accidentally. Another camera I found. And by the way, the average I paid for these $12 at a junk store. This is a Fairchild Cinephonic. This is the only double 8mm camera, and as you can see, it also had film still in the camera when I opened up the film door. This is the only double 8mm camera, as far as I know, that was ever made to record sound, as well as 8mm film. I used a special film, I believe. This was made about 1960, and this is a beast. This is all metal. You could use this as a weapon. Just like I realized when I got this, why some old movies they used phones as murder weapons, because boy, you could bludgeon somebody with this. Not that I recommend that. Okay, so this is the Fairchild. This is, oh, I'm confused. This is the Revere. This is the Fairchild. This is why I should script these things. Now this Kodak Instamatic, this is, if you see old movies where people are waving these things around, this is probably something very like this is what you've seen. These are pretty common. Kodak is, of course, the company that invented the Super-8 format to begin with, so they made a lot of cameras. This is a 60s vintage of some sort. I haven't really looked it up. This does not work. Ran into the same problem you run into with a lot of these things when you find them, or anything battery powered, and you find it in a junk store. The person who sold it to the junk store has left the batteries in it. They've left it in their closet for 30 or 40 or 50 years in this case, and the batteries have been leaking into the battery compartment for 30 or 40 or 50 years, and you get corrosion. Now, this one cleaned out the corrosion as best as possible, but just too late to save this guy. I mean, maybe if I had the engineering know-how to take it apart. Could possibly save it. I doubt it, but I have set my kitchen on fire thrice. Not this one, if my landlord is watching, but at various places I have lived, I have set my kitchen on fire, not once, not twice, but thrice while cooking pancakes. So I don't want to mess with anything with wires and gears. I'd probably destroy my entire community. Okay, now I've got these 3 Bell & Howells. 2 of these Bell & Howells work. I'm going to give you the non-functioning one first. Another case of corrosion in the battery compartment, unfortunately, just not being salvageable. This is a Bell & Howell model 442 Filmosound 8. And this was another attempt to record sound. Later, of course, you had the Super-8 cameras that recorded a sound film natively. The actual Super-8 film came in larger cartridges with a little magnetic stripe that could record sound in camera. Those are no longer available, of course. A lot of the cameras are still around, but the film is no good. This Bell & Howell Filmosound, just briefly, you actually plugged a tape recorder in here. This didn't come with a tape recorder, unfortunately. It was a dedicated tape recorder that filmed sound at the same time that this was filming Super-8 film. If you want to find out more about that, there's a channel called Analog Resurgence that I highly, highly recommend. Just great, great videos. He does an entire, like, 20-some-odd minute video about the doomed Bell & Howell Filmosound system. That's really interesting. This camera's, I mean, nice aesthetically, I guess, and a sort of it's about a 16, they started releasing these in 68 or 69 and through the early 70s. Didn't last long because it wasn't a very good system. But it's nice aesthetically, I guess, but it's basically a paperweight, unfortunately, because once again, people sell this stuff to junk stores and they leave the batteries in, and the batteries proceed to sit there for however long it takes to sell the thing, and they've probably been sitting there for 40 or 50 years in somebody's closet. So, paperweight. Now for the 2 that work. Surprised me once again. Average for all of these about 12 bucks a piece. I paid about 12 bucks each for these. We got here a Bell & Howell Auto Load Super-8 model 430. This is about 69, I think. Battery powered, as were almost all Super-8 cameras, at least those made in the US. This guy I found in a junk shop with whoever owned this. No, that's the other one, I apologize. This one, it's just in a junk store, and I threw some batteries in it. Hear that? Still works. Haven't shot any film through it yet. I'm a little worried about it because although the film carousel here and the feet here and the gate all seem to work, there's a lot of cloudiness through the eyepiece. So I'm afraid that the film will, I'm afraid the lens is probably dirty, and there's just not much I can do about that if it's on the inside. Once again, I'm new at this. There are probably Super-8 experts out there who are screaming at me like, why don't you do this? Because I don't know. If you have any advice, I'll be more than happy to take it. I'm an absolute neophyte. This is just something I'm getting into and enjoying so far, even though I have no idea what I'm doing, which is how most of my hobbies go. Finally, this one, this is pretty common from what I can tell looking on the old internet, but it's interesting to me. This is a Bell & Howell. This is all metal, released in 1966, 1 year after the Super-8 format was invented. So this is one of the early cameras. And this is a Bell & Howell model, I believe it's model 311. I can't remember. This is why I should write this down. Yes, model 311. And this sucker This is the one where somebody took care of this guy. I found this in a junk store, just sitting in a corner, with every piece of paper it ever came from with. It was in its original packaging, had its manual, had all the advertising material that came with it for Castle films, educational films, little comedy shorts you could buy on 8mm, Abbott and Costello, 8mm movies, all the advertising stuff that was packed in there. Had the inspection tags from the factory with the penciled in initials of whoever inspected this sucker before it got shipped out. Now this is a bit unusual for a Super-8. It's one of the few, at least in the U.S. There are there's some Soviet versions of that worked like this that were made, I think, up into the 90s, believe it or not. This does not run on AAA batteries. Now the light sensor runs on one of those old mercury batteries that's been discontinued. It was still in the thing when I got it, but miraculously had not corroded at all. I threw a couple of watch batteries in there, and the light sensor still works 55 years later. But the motor is not battery powered. It is a Bell & Howell Perpetua drive. Same drive that ran the camera that Abraham Zapruder used, same company. And what the Perpetua drive is, it's a crank drive, just like most of these old 8mm and a lot of the early 16mm cameras ran on. You just crank the sucker up, and you can take single shots, single frames, or you can hold this down. Still runs. Unbelievable. Actually, not so unbelievable. The spring drive things were built like tanks. A lot of them are still working. But that is my camera collection so far, and I will share more with you as I come across them, share some Super-8 film as I get it edited and uploaded, and just sort of a journey of discovery for me, if that is not too hackneyed, or even if it is because I said it and it's too late to edit it out now. I want to go to bed. So at any rate, those are my cameras. They're going to go back up on that shelf, and hopefully there will be some more videos in the near future discussing more cameras, more about Super-8, what mistakes I'm bound to make while I learn more about this medium, and any interesting tidbits I come across. All right, thanks.